All right. So I'll count us down. You ready? You ready for this?
Yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Hello. Welcome to another episode of ARunninThought podcast. I'm Clint. And this is Ashton.
You hesitated there for a second, like you didn't know my name.
I
Or
didn't
you were
know-
expecting me to introduce myself.
I didn't know if you wanted to say it or not, or use a.
I'm the guest. I
pseudonym.
would expect you to introduce me.
All right. Well, this is Ashton, and he's here today to talk story. So why don't we talk story?
Yeah, let me just preface with this saying that I don't want to be here. I'm participating under duress, and
Duress.
that my participation is not consensual or voluntary.
Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah. Good
Yeah.
start.
So a long time ago, in
A land far, far away.
in a 100-acre wood, I stumbled upon you while I was running with Boomer here, and that's kind of where our friendship blossomed.
Our story
blossomed.
began.
Yeah.
Have you been up there at all recently?
No.
It's been years since I've been up there. I don't think she could do the walk anymore.
So the area that we're talking about, for anybody that listening and anybody that cares, is the Hilo Watershed Management Area, which nobody knows it by that name, but it is
yeah.
commonly colloquial. Is that colloquially known
Colloquial.
as Narnia?
Yeah, Upper Boiling Ponds. It's got a Hawaiian name too. I forget the name of it though.
I can't advise anybody to go there, of course, but
You can go there if you're a hunter. If
Yeah.
you have a hunting license, you can go up there and not be subject to imprisonment, fine, or castration by the Department of Land and Natural Resources.
go ahead.
I was going to say, the bigger issue of not going there is like every time I hear someone go in there, their car gets broken into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's that.
Yeah.
I never, that's, I guess, one of the bad things that's kind of happened over the last, what is it, like 7 years? Like right around COVID, stuff started getting a little bit more dicey in certain areas. And so that, I never had problems there. Now, it could just be that I was lucky and
And you drive a piece of shit, and I drive a piece of shit. Right,
my truck was nice though
Okay.
when I was
Yeah.
going there. I had a new Tacoma, but maybe to your point, it's a gray Tacoma, so maybe it just didn't stand out. There's a particular green color, that they paint utility boxes and stuff like that with, because it psychologically doesn't register as.
Lowers aggression or.
No, it's just it doesn't stand out.
No.
People don't notice it.
Oh, so you think like it was camouflage?
Yeah. Maybe silver Tacoma, and plus it's a dime a dozen here. So
Yeah, and you just don't also know in terms of the number of stories that you hear about people having vehicles broken into, whether it's someone who was out here on vacation and they're up there in a 2024 white Jeep.
So pro tip: no matter what you're driving here, the best advice that I can personally give you is don't have anything in your vehicle visible from the outside. Because that's just kind of inviting, and it doesn't matter. It was the same in Atlanta. If you even had change like in your cup holder, people would break your window just to steal 75 cents or whatever out of your car. So I'm not saying it's like that here, but it definitely doesn't help to advertise. But I digress.
Yeah, but point being, I guess aside from the social commentary, it is a really nice spot. We used to go up there all the time. I mean, I lived in an Airbnb down the road from there on Waitanui for about 6 months, and so it was our go-to hiking spot, and we went for years afterwards, and probably around COVID.
So one thing I did notice the other day, I've not gotten out much for like the last year basically, so I made my way over to that side of Hilo, and I went up. My son had to get his learner's permit, which that's a whole different story we can get into. I had like a whole other midlife crisis based off of that experience. But yeah, so I was over on that part of town because we had to go to the Hilo police station, and I decided, because I was early, I would just go over and check out like Rainbow Falls and go up to Boiling Pots. You know, nothing major, just like pop in. It's nothing that I haven't seen, you know, 1,000 times before, but I figure we live here, why not take advantage of it? Well, what we can. So I went over there and I noticed as soon as I pulled in, and I didn't really read the whole sign, but I saw the parking attendants, and now that's all paid parking in there. But I guess if you're
a resident, they don't.
If you're a resident, they don't charge. Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. If you are like me and you have been living under a rock or a bridge, or in front of a computer for the last year, don't freak out. You can park there. You just bring your driver's license or whatever.
Yeah, they started that in the last month or two, I think. There was a huge... the world is ending on social media about
I don't think it's a bad idea, actually.
No.
I'll be honest, I was kind of like, what the, you know, at first, but then the more I thought about it, I've run into so many not really bad situations with people, but just, you know, people go in and they tear stuff up, and it's a high traffic area.
They do the same thing up at Akaka Falls, and it's no big deal.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, it's no big deal.
You know, I think it's I think the loudest people complaining about it were the people who were like, oh, well, you know, I'm from Hawaii, but I live on the mainland, and I come back and see family, and I want to go there.
I see, yeah.
And I understand that perspective, but at the same time,
yeah, I do too.
Like, are you going there all the time? You know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
And if it's like the one at Akaka Falls, like you can just walk past the people; they don't care.
Well, the thing about it too, and of course, you know, I get that perspective too. If you're from here and you're coming back to visit, you know, it's kind of, I don't know, it's a slap in the face, or it might seem that way to have to pay to get in. But on the flip side, those areas, you know, somebody's got to go in and clean up and keep everything tip top, because those are high traffic places. So, you know, every little bit that they get, at least, you know, is going towards keeping the places running good. And it looked like they were in good shape. I didn't stay long at Rainbow Falls, but I went up to Boiling Pots because I thought maybe they hadn't done anything up there, but it's the same thing. But actually that place looked way better than in the past when I visited. It used to just always be torn up, unserviceable, lavatory and all that stuff. But,
well, let's hear more about your traumatic life experience of getting a driver's permit for your son.
Oh, yeah.
That actually sounds interesting.
Well,
I don't care about the bathrooms at Boiling Pots.
It wasn't traumatic in the sense of like anything that happened during that appointment. The appointment was, you know...
It's just the 16 years building up to it.
Yeah, it was kind of the realization that a lifetime or a quarter of a lifetime or whatever has essentially gone by. And, you know, the little baby that I always think of my son as has now grown up.
How old is he?
He's 15.
A quarter of a life? You're only expecting him to live to 60? That's not...
A quarter of my lifetime.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, how old are you? Oh.
Yeah.
Still. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But so, yeah, it made me, because he's only got 2 years left of
life,
high school, love life. Yeah. Well, he is going to be driving soon, so, you know, everybody watch out. You may not have long to live. Yeah. but no, just kidding. Knock on wood. But just that he, you know, he's chomping at the bit, or champing at the bit, or whatever the right way to say that is.
Yeah, I don't know what champing would.
I think it actually. I was watching an episode of Tosh.0 where he was really adamant that it's champing.
I'm pretty sure it's chomping.
Well, I was too, but
like a horse and a bit and a teeth and a chomp.
I was pretty sure too, but I feel like I got schooled by Daniel Tosh.
I heard it was queefing. It's queefing.
Queefing at the bit.
Yeah.
he is ready to go back to mainland or maybe to Japan or somewhere. He wants to get off island and go see the world, which I understand. Like when I was his age, I was ready to jump ship. And
so did he have to do, was this a driving test and a written test?
No, this was just getting
picking up
his permit. Yeah. Yeah.
And so you're sitting there waiting in the car, and Cat Stevens, Man in the Moon, and Little Boy Blues.
Yeah, for sure.
When
No,
you
not
coming
really.
home, son, I don't know when.
Yeah. But yeah, and so
in 2 years he's leaving you.
basically, yeah, that was the realization. So I've got a lot of I got to get some camping and dirt bike riding and some more jujitsu and all that I can.
Yeah, squeeze all that love out of him and
That's
push him
it.
away.
Yeah. Well, I'm not pushing him away. If I had my
you'll be pushing him away by making him do all this shit with you.
yeah, exactly.
College?
If I had my druthers, he would just hang around. I don't know about college. That's a tricky subject, I think, for a lot of parents now. I got on board with that, and when I did, it really seemed like that would make sense. And I think for certain career fields, this is just me, so obviously don't do what I do. I'm not wildly successful at life at all.
Somebody agrees.
Mookie would tend to agree. All right, Mookie, he's fine. He gets a little verklempt when I start.
I thought he was just so. He thought it was so hilarious when you said what you said.
He's like, no kidding.
Check him out, Bob.
Maybe he's just too hot from sitting in my lap. You all right, buddy? Well, anyway, so college. I think obviously, if you're going to be a pharmacist or a lawyer or an engineer. Or something, a physicist, an academic, a lifelong academic, or something that requires very specialized knowledge base, or the nurturing of a mind that has that aptitude. I don't disagree, that college would be the right path. I think if you were like me and you were just going as kind of like a means to an end to check a box. I've got a business degree, and I studied computers, and then I don't know why I didn't learn the first time. I went back again to get a master's. I don't think it was really worth it for me, to be honest, because there's no way that I really could have known that AI would be as prevalent as it is right now. Well, I guess I could have known. This is back to like, I'm not wildly successful, and one of the reasons is because I don't predict things very well. But at the time, I didn't, especially when I was getting my undergrad, I couldn't really foresee. We were still using, like thick laptops were kind of like in vogue. And I remember my database professor said something about, in the future all computers will be flat and you can fit them in the palm of your hand, and we just collectively laughed at him and scoffed. But then a couple of years later, that started to become more of a reality.
What's your point? Get to the point. Get to the point.
The point is that I should have turned that cuckoo clock off.
That's a sense of ambiance
before we started. But the point is, I don't know how much sense it makes. I think it's case by case.
But that's also a skewed perspective because you have it, right? And so if you had just a high school diploma, you don't know whether you would have had whatever opportunities that you have had.
I don't think I would have.
Yeah.
I think it definitely helped as a foot in the door. I don't know. That's the thing. I said all that to make the point that I went into it with that kind of trajectory in mind. Is like, you kind of did have to have a bachelor's degree to get a foot in the door to most jobs that were higher paying, unless you were going to do something more hands-on, which is fine too. Like, I've got nothing against that either, but now I don't know how much sense it makes, because it seems like, whether it's legitimate or not, a lot of companies are just kind of using the blanket excuse of like AI
Yeah, but AI doesn't, right? I mean, I feel like AI doesn't answer anything. I mean, it provides a tool to somebody who's a skilled operator in order to use it, or else, right? You know, a hammer in the hand of an idiot is just a destructive
Yeah,
tool. AI is the same way.
I tend to agree.
So, I mean, I've had the perspective for a long time, and I think this was true even when I was going to college, is that the undergraduate degree is the new high school diploma, the master's degree is the new undergraduate degree, and
I
so
think
on and
that's
so
fair.
forth. And so I think, you know, if you're competing with a generation or two previously who everyone has a liberal arts degree or an undergraduate degree for entry-level jobs, and you're coming out with a high school degree and that's it, you're not competitive for what are essentially entry-level jobs. So that's, I mean, that's one perspective just in terms of employability. I would say the other is that I still think a liberal arts education is extremely important for forming a well-educated populace of people who aren't fucking idiots, and having some exposure to history, world events, art. I think we need more of that. I don't think it needs to be a education that people take out, you know, $200,000 in student loans in order to accomplish. I think people need to be using much more associate degrees, technical colleges.
Yeah, I
feeder
agree.
schools.
There's nothing wrong with going to a community college and seeing if it's going to be a good fit for you, kind of like not really low stakes, but lesser stakes than just hopping off to a university. I've seen firsthand where, you know, kids just jump off to the 4-year and then it's for all the wrong reasons. And they end up partying and not accomplishing the thing that they need to be doing, which is, you know, to piggyback off the things that you were saying, all that. But one of the main things that you learn in college is time management, right? Because that's where it starts to be the most formative, I think. You're trying to hopefully not do the Tommy Boy thing and stay there for 7 or 8 years. You're trying to get out of there as soon as possible. So you're loading up classes, you're trying to get all your prerequisites, and you want to get to the good stuff. And you know, each class is going to be demanding depending on, you know, what it is, but you have to start doing some time management because you're also trying to juggle some social aspects into that as well.
Yeah, and I also think that there needs to be, and I think there is to a certain extent, but it needs to be promoted more, is that, yeah, college is not the only path. I mean,
exactly.
You know, if you had told me now, or I mean, if you had told me back then what I know now in terms of, like, hey, don't go to school for 12 more years, maybe go to community college, get a minor in business, and then become an electrician, and you'd be making the same amount of money you are now and have the same job flexibility, I would have probably gone that path.
Yeah.
You know.
If I would have been privy at all to, you know, the opportunities that exist if you're, you know, a welder.
Yeah, as a skilled trade.
I could have done that, no problem. I already worked in a body shop when I was in high school, and I liked it. I enjoyed the work. I liked working on vehicles. Now, of course, I don't know if I would still be liking it after a career of it, but it is very draining and soul-sucking to have to, you know, every time you change locations, every time employer goes through some kind of layoff scenario, or you know, there's churn and burn, you leave and have to go somewhere else. It's kind of demeaning, especially now, and it's draining to go through that whole process of like having to explain your history to kind of like a captive audience that it really can't be bothered with it most of the time, and just repeating that. And the way that things are now, where I kind of feel bad for, you know, the HR and the hiring managers that have to live in the slop as well, because it is just a mass, you know, thousands of resumes for, you know, a job, and then they supposedly have to call through those and then interview a bunch of people and pick out the best ones, and then everybody else is competing with all these other hundreds of applicants. And
it's an interesting question in terms of the things we have done, are they of worth doing? So you know, so there's a good example. All right, a company needs a new employee for position XYZ, and they've adopted an internet advertisement approach. They put it on job boards. They have an online application process. They have multiple levels of HR review to handle the huge inflow of hundreds of applicants. If it's a Hawaii job, like you mentioned this on the phone earlier, maybe they get a bunch of mainland candidates. And so you've promoted and set up a mechanism to ingest thousands of applications for what is a menial, probably entry-level position. And in order to support that, you need a huge HR bureaucracy. And then you have to create filter processes through multiple rounds of interviews, yada, 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 all in the idea of advancement and streamline. But all you've done is dug your own hole, where what you could have done is you could have put up a job posting in, like the post office just locally and done a
found somebody,
hard filter, like almost an analog filter towards the job application process. But because you want to be modern, you've modernized it, but you've increased the burden.
Well, then also there's other things that play into it too, like the legal aspects of having to, comply with certain, applicant demographics, quantity of, the applicant base.
That doesn't exist anymore.
It doesn't? They took it out?
Probably not in this, not in.
I mean, it's easy.
Not in this current culture.
It would be easy to throw a cloak over that anyway, with everything being electronic now.
Yeah.
I mean, how many emails have been sent out? We're sorry, we've decided to move forward with other candidates. I mean, I don't even think about those anymore. I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah.
I've seen one, I've seen 1,000.
I mean, I feel like if anything, all of this is really done in terms of just, to sound
morose,
ageist, the internets.
Yeah.
And now the adoption of, AI tools, all it's done is increase the bureaucracy.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's the same thing in terms of a demonstration of what's going on with academic universities over the last 20 years in terms of increasing the bureaucracy of, internalization. We're spending less money on students, but we're spending more money on middle managers.
So I did an interview for an educational facility, and they asked me...
Is that what they call a penal colony for kids now?
Yeah. They asked me a question, like what I think I've already told you this, but they asked me how I would go about marketing their summer courses. And so, like, as not really a marketer, but as a digital marketer and somebody that kind of is in that niche of UX and kind of thinking of user-centric, questions that I usually ask are, okay, who are the best customers that are coming to you? What are the problems that they're facing? And from those problems, how have you been able to solve those in the past? And what do the metrics look like? What defines success in your terms or in their terms, more importantly? And, for me to answer that question, summer classes, my thought was, what's the kind of germane to what we were talking about before, what's the payoff for them coming to summer classes was what I would focus on in that marketing. Like, show them, okay, at the end of the summer, you're going to be, good at welding or good at, whatever you're studying over the summer. And I don't think like that answer. And I've seen what they have chosen to do. And basically they're just promoting the lower cost of the classes is kind of like the reason to go there, which I guess you might get some people that are kind of path of least resistance kind of thinking, oh, it's lower, so I'll just see if I can pay for that and instead of paying full price. But I don't think you're casting a wide enough net. I think if you showed people what they would get out of it, and I know that in this scenario that they actually do offer value to people, but they prefer, maybe it's just academia or the way that they're just used to running things, but they would rather just say, no, lower prices, therefore you should come here, and use that as the marketing tool instead of
Yeah, I guess I don't know enough about the situation in order to really accurately comment, because it depends on, right, what the class's intents are. Like if they're, in my mind, if they were like GEs, right, like they're things, they're boxes that you have to tick in order to tick the big box.
Yeah. Well, you're talking about bureaucracy before, and that's kind of what I was getting at, is I think that there's some constraints on what they're actually allowed to do. So like thereby, you know, saying, okay, you do A and then you're going to get B, they may have like some legal ramifications, or may get in trouble with, you know, their admin for actually taking that approach. So they may be kind of stuck, even though it would probably be a good idea to at least try that, A/B test it and see how it, you know, how it works out. They don't. So, and that's a lot. That's a lot of like, you know, office work. Is, you know, you get ideas that you think that are going to work and you want to try them out, but then someone either steals your idea or you know, I guess that depends on how that rests with you, how that settles with you, or, you know, they kick your idea to the road in lieu of like the highest paid person's opinion, or, you know, Susie that they like more than you, or whatever. So it's interesting how the dynamics of working now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's, you know, specific to our time. I think that's always been present when you get groups of people together, and I think that's a good example of why it's so important to learn early on in your career, whatever your career is, especially if it's in a group setting, not to become emotionally dependent on the responses of other people.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. So one of the things that I think school, or even like on-the-job training, or any kind of like mentor-mentee scenario tends to teach too, is how to handle criticism. Both constructive and non-constructive, because let's face it, like there's definitely college professors and bosses that are not very constructive in their critiquing. and then there's definitely some that are, you know, that want to help. But I had another point. Oh, so a lot of college, at least for me, was basically other people telling me what I should read. So in other words, if I would have just gone out and read about the stuff, which I had to do anyway to pass the courses, I mean, that's what a lot of college is, you know, a professor saying, hey, look, you need to read these books, and then there's going to be a test on it later. So, I mean, if you're, I guess, I don't want to dispense potentially life-changing advice, you know, take everything with a grain of salt, but you can actually get some good traction in life by picking up some books and trying to.
Yeah, but nobody's going to give you a special piece of paper.
Yeah, well, I mean,
read those books.
Yeah.
Anyways, so this was all related to whether your son, who's leaving you emotionally and physically in 2 years, never to return, is thinking about going to college, and so the question was.
So I don't know.
You haven't had that conversation with him.
I have, yeah. I think right now he doesn't want to, but so my conversation that I had with him was, if you think you might be interested in that, do whatever you can do while you're in high school to see what scholarships or what potential paths you may have to lessen that burden on you, right? I mean, it makes sense. Like if you've got the time, don't procrastinate until it's time to start submitting applications and stuff like that. See what's available, and, you know, keep your grades up. I've always explained to him, like, American education system, if you're making all A's, I mean, you're doing okay, I guess, but it's not the same as, you know, we're kind of like third world country in terms of like education, I think. So if you're getting like low marks, then that's an indication that you might not have the aptitude right away, like after high school or whatever, to move on to college. Like, it could be wrong. There's a lot of people that have had, you know, a bad elementary and high school grades, and then gone on to be geniuses, just because the constraints were different in like a rigidly structured educational format.
Yeah, milking a cow there.
I'm trying to think of good words to say, but yeah. So what I told him was, see what you can do. Basically, are you interested in sports? Maybe try some different sports. Maybe see what you're interested in academically. Like, is it computers? Is it chemistry? Is it math? Or what floats your boat? You could use your brain to actually start reaping benefits from that. And that's kind of what I've always told them, is like, be creative and think of ways to help yourself, and versus letting life kind of like just happen to you, kind of happen to life. Put yourself in a circumstance where you can
impregnate life. Don't let life impregnate you.
I guess.
He's a what, junior?
Yeah. No, well, sophomore.
Sophomore.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's got time. But yeah, so I don't know. He's interested in computers, and he can build, gaming machines, and likes photography. So yeah, those are some things that he can do. Now, everything's kind of, I don't, so back to the bigger point, I don't really know what advice to dispense to him, or if I should even, because the rules have kind of changed a little bit. The trajectory may be very different for him than what it was for me. I kind of slid in, I think right at the end of when college might get you in the door. Now you gotta kind of have college plus some bisecting expertise. Something that you gotta be able to show that you're super interested in a field or have some kind of experience, I think, in addition to just a piece of paper, like you say.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I think it's we're about the same age, and I think we were one of the last bigger generations to be raised by parents who were on the stricter side, who were raised by their stricter boomer. We're the last of the coat hanger generation, right? We're the last ones to get beat on the ass when we were bad as a kid. We were, I think, not necessarily the last, but on a larger scale, some of the last to be forced into the idea of like, you have to go to college. There's nothing else to do. Like, you're going to do this, and maybe there's a sense that subconsciously, oh, we need to be nicer to our kids than our parents were to us. Mm-hmm. We need to give them more room to explore their opportunities.
Are you saying I need to beat my son more?
I'm saying like maybe I think there should be more awareness, and of course this is coming from someone who's 44 with no kids.
Yeah.
But maybe some awareness of like, hey man, a 15-year-old's a fucking idiot. Their brain isn't formally developed. Like, they shouldn't be able to.
That's fair.
Like, you can't expect them to make these big lifelong decisions. And so the best thing you can do is prevent them from making stupid decisions.
Yeah.
And so like, if someone's got an interest or an aptitude for photography and drones, I'd be sending their ass to like a 2-month summer camp about drone photography and be like, you don't have an option.
Yeah, I mean, so to your point, there's so many non-traditional paths to even getting education now. So there's like art schools and different things that you can go to kind of, it's like education light, it's more practical curriculum, actually doing the thing. And that's probably interesting to, like, if somebody's really into photography, they're going to want to go actually do the thing and learn the tools versus like take a bunch of English, college English and college math, just to be able to take a couple of like generalist photography classes or something. There's nothing wrong, I don't think, with taking all those, because like you were saying before, there is kind of a baseline. I think a lot of people are lacking in historical knowledge and just kind of like awareness. Sociology, I think, is an important set of courses to take. I think, finance, marketing, for me, I had never really been exposed to those concepts. It was all kind of a blur. And it was kind of those sort of classes where I started to realize, like, I didn't know all that I thought I knew, because in my 20s I figured I owned the world and knew everything better than any adult. You know, to your point, still forming my my brain was still growing, so I was an idiot too. But yeah, so I think it can be beneficial, or it can be something that you can skip if it's just not right for you. There's different strokes for different folks, but
yeah, I think that I think the danger is, and I've seen this with some of my friends' kids, and that is a slippery slope perspective, in just the sense of like, oh well, hey, you don't have to do this. There's other paths, and why don't you take some time to figure out this or that, and then next thing you know, right? They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Next thing you know, they're 26 and
still gaming.
Yeah.
Still gaming and drinking Monsters.
Yeah. Because someone just didn't, rip off that Band-Aid. And so I think part of it is
well, I think you're leaving out a very important factor here. He's got an Asian mom.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
an
true.
Asian mom has already, like, she's very much a huge part of his parenting. And Asian mom has already said he's gone in 2 years. Yeah. So there may be failure to launch, but it's not going to be for lack of, kind of nudging him out of the nest. I'm more of a softie and wish he would stay, but I realize too that there is kind of that thing. I did that when I was young. When I turned 19, I joined the Navy and got the hell out of Dodge because I wanted to do other things and see other places, and I was reflecting on that, just looking at some old photos this past week
of you and your seamen
of not just in the military, but through business trips that I've taken for other jobs, and we've been to Japan often with my family to visit my wife's family there, and kind of those experiences are very important to me. And there's nothing. I'm not saying that life wouldn't have been good, just hanging around the States or whatever, but I feel like that too is as important as like going to a 2 or 4 year school or learning a trade or whatever, is getting that firsthand experience of a totally different culture, a totally different language.
I think for Edward, I think that'd be an amazing opportunity. Instead of jumping right into college, like just ship him off to Japan for a year or two, have him live with some family out there, work out there.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely an option. It is not an easy life there, for sure. It's culturally, it's very different. That's good.
Give him some perspective.
Yeah, but he's got plenty of family, and there's plenty of work to do there too. But yeah, I mean, we've talked to him about possibly even doing a year of high school there if he wanted to, because he's got younger family. Like my wife's brother is there.
That'd be cool.
And yeah, he's got a cousin, that's there, not his age, but not much older than him. Well, older than him, but still kind of in that under 20s, yeah, that we don't fit in anymore.
Yeah.
The cool kids. Yeah, so anyway, so that was crazy to think about.
So what are you going to do with your life when your child abandons you?
I mean, that was a whole other thing I had to think about. Yeah. Was my whole life. You're
going to go back to school, aren't you?
No, I've been doing a lot of reflecting on that, because I've talked to old friends like in the past week as well.
Friends you've known a long time, or friends who are old? Or is that the same thing for you?
Both, yeah. Hard to imagine, but I've always been kind of a little bit standoffish and kind of not really standoffish, but like quiet and just kind of contemplative, and not really like I would be the wallflower, not the guy like necessarily dancing out in the middle of the dance floor or whatever. And like in retrospect, I still had like a really good time, but it was because of the people that were around me that were very outgoing, that kind of like drug me into situations where I could have a good time, you know, go cliff diving or whatever, or drinking a lot or dancing or whatever, you know, it would be. But yeah, just my mindset was always, I'm ramping up to when it's gonna be better. Like I don't care about anything that much now. All I can think about is the future when it's gonna be better. Mm. Right. I'm always thinking that way. But now it's kind of like, well, there's really, I mean, it sounds bad, but it's like I'm running out of future, and I'm starting to realize that the future is kind of like now. I mean that in the least Steve Jobs way possible, but it's better to live kind of in the present and enjoy things that are in your life at the moment versus like always thinking about the past or always thinking too far ahead. Well, I would rather be, you know, somewhere else. I would rather be with another, you know, some other people, or I wish I had more money, or I wish, you know, whatever. There's 1,000 things that you can think of any given second that you think would improve your life, but it's never going to be as good, kind of like bird in the bush, bird in the hand thing. It's better just to work with what you've got versus like
two in the bush, one in the butt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, right? You know, if you can't find contentment in where you are now, then what's the guarantee that you'll find contentment later on if things are different? At the same time, you know, I think it is a little bit of that maybe discontentment that does drive some people to excel, right? You know, if some people are like, God, my life would be so much better if I was a billionaire. All I want to do is be a billionaire and have a yacht and live in Monaco, and that drives them to do what they do in order to accomplish that. Whether it's
I was gonna say
selling bricks of cocaine or putting, you know, apps together.
I was gonna say, but would it really? But then, you know, obviously it would be actually in that scenario. But yeah, for lesser aspirations, that probably is true.
But I definitely agree with I think the idea of always thinking that you're preparing to live your life is, well, it's not healthy, but it's also counterproductive. I mean, it's kind of similar to people who do nothing but save for retirement. Like I can't go on this trip because I'm saving for retirement. Or I can't do this because I'm saving
And then they get like leukemia or something.
Well, even if they don't get to anything catastrophic, it's like you want to spend all that money when you're 70 and not when you're 35. You know, it's the balance, right?
Yeah, there's trade-off. So my wife and I kind of realized that we wanted to go somewhere different. Like if we were going to move to Alaska, or if we were going to move to Hawaii, we wanted to do something kind of like you're saying, a little bit, you know, different than just hanging around Atlanta for the rest of our lives or whatever. Not to show out or not for the sake of being different, but we wanted to experience like a change of pace, a different scenery. And we knew that if we were going to move here, it was kind of like both things. Financially, it was going to be much more rough to try to like survive here. And this was, you know, like 10 years ago, we were already thinking about this. But then also when you're old, I mean, no offense to anyone out there, but the things that you can do outdoors here kind of shrink. We'll put it that way, because there's a lot of places that are very dangerous if you don't have good mobility or whatever. Like, and you never know, kind of as you age, what kind of things are going to go wrong.
Yeah, no, it's actually kind of, I mean, not haha funny, but ironically funny in the fact that you get so many people who retire in Hawaii, and I kind of feel like the better way to do it is do it the other way around. Spend your like 30s, 40s, 50s in Hawaii, and then like when you turn 60, then retire on the mainland.
Or, you know, you can still retire here if you've got it like that. But yeah, I mean, there's so many places that I've been, and I know you've been way more than me. But it's just remote areas, and you have to, for me, I don't have cool helicopters and stuff, but I have to hike to these places. But yeah, like, it's just the middle of nowhere, nobody around, but it's beautiful, and that's kind of like the value of it. There's so many places like that around the islands, and you know, anywhere really. Like if you go out west on mainland, you know, all of Oregon is beautiful, Washington State.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my point in terms of why I think it's counterproductive, or not counterproductive, but a little ironic in terms of the people who retire here, it's less from the activity side and more just for the medically underserved side, right? Like
that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a good idea to be here with the chronic illness for sure.
And at the same time, I mean, we're relatively young, but I've already, like, I've slipped into that point. I did it when I was living in Oahu a while ago too. Like, I don't think I've been snorkeling in a year and a half, 2 years.
I was going to ask you, before I asked you if you wanted to do a podcast today, I was actually thinking about just seeing if you wanted to go snorkeling, because I haven't either.
Yeah.
And that's the shame of it.
Yeah.
I remember when we first came here, we went to a birthday party for one of Edward's friends, and there were a lot of people there, a lot of parents there, and I was just talking to them, and a dad was lamenting. He was like, I haven't even been, 'cause it was at the beach. I forgot, I left that detail out. But we're sitting on the beach talking, and one of the dads was like, I haven't even been to this beach in like 2 or 3 years or more. And it just blew my mind, because I was new here.
Yeah.
So I still didn't know the deal. I was like, how can you live here and you haven't even been to the beach in 2 years? And then,
Well,
you know, cut to right now, I don't think I've been to snorkeling in a while. It's been at least a year.
At least for me personally, I blame it on the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because we used to go to the beach like every weekend, especially down at Richardson's, because she would swim in there. But she's gotten so old, she can't get in there. And now it's, you know, I don't like going out and doing activities that I can't do with her at this age. So it's like, you know what, I can not go to the beach for a few years, or, you know, not go swimming.
Well, I know of a dog that needs exercise. If you ever,
That is the fattest dog in the world.
if you ever just need a place to let Boomer crash, and
I mean,
you know,
she's got to be, what, like 9 or 10, 10?
1,000 pounds, yeah.
And she's been that fat her entire life, so
Yeah.
I don't think she.
No, she's been actually skinny. When we first got her, she was kind of a hunting dog, and I think she was competing with a couple of other dogs for food at the last place she was at. They would like steal her food and stuff. But you would never know it. She's not super greedy. She's very sneaky. We think that, of course, she eats both of the Chihuahua's food, of course, right? At night, you'll hear clunk, 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 like little eating sounds in the kitchen, and that's Foxy eating everybody else's food. But
No, you do open feeding. So.
we think that she sneaks also to other dogs' food bowls around the neighborhood and eats other dogs' food too.
So there's a bunch of emaciated dogs in HPP because this dog's stealing all their food.
I have honestly thought about just walking a big bag of dog food to the neighbors across the street, because I don't know for sure, but there's no way that even with the Chihuahua's food, she's that big, unless she just has like a thyroid disorder or something. She could have that, yeah. But, you know, she will not nip at you or anything if you like take her bowl away or the other dogs come to eat her food. She's completely
But she'll
fine.
nip at you if you try and rub her belly.
If you rub her belly, yeah.
Even though she'll present her belly like she wants you to rub it.
That's what inflammation does. It changes a girl. Yeah.
All right, so the one thing I've taken away from this is that you're getting old. You're going through a midlife crisis. Your son is abandoning you. And you maybe are trying to not live with the idea of it'll be better later on.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Yeah.
I think, you know, it is good to kind of keep a mindset of no matter what it is right now, good, bad, indifferent, things will change. That's one thing that I have learned, like in 40 some odd years, is that no matter where it's at, things kind of come sideways in life, and it can always improve drastically or go the other way.
Would you guys ever be interested in moving temporarily to Japan? Like if Edward graduated high school or did it last year in Japan, would you guys?
So that kind of gets back to how things are different in Japan. So I think it would be difficult for me personally, unless I did get into something like in the hospitality industry, or running my own business. The thing about Japan is, for me, they don't need me.
Yeah.
It maybe used to be that they might need somebody that speaks English, but they're perfectly capable of doing anything that I could do.
But could you do is there like a 6-month or 1-year tourist visa, and then you could,
I'm
float?
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. But like for my wife though, she's got all these credentials for her career that don't transfer there. And then even if she did work in her field there, she's not going to be taken seriously. And there's going to be, it's not going to be the same for her, and I don't think she's super interested in that. That's why she's here in the first place, I think, mostly.
So it seems like the best approach would be have your son go there after high school, get a job, work, and then both of you guys go out there and not work and have your son
Just
support
pay
you for a year. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Yeah.
And you spend all your day gaming.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And then give him a taste of his own medicine. No, but I would be interested in going, but I kind of feel like I'm not the best. So like I've had like a lot of business ideas and things that have always flopped, and maybe it's just because I don't stay at it long enough. But I feel like I've got an idea that I would go there and be happy, but based on past experiences, I don't know that all my ideas are always that accurate or that great. So that's a pretty...
It's good that you realize that, though, because a lot of people don't.
That's a pretty far...
Got a brilliant idea.
That's a pretty far way to go to then realize that, oops.
I mean, it's not...
It's
not that far from where we are.
I mean, you're talking about going through their paperwork and all the rigmarole to even get...
Oh, I just meant like to grab a flight, show up, and then just don't do any of the paperwork, just hang out.
Well, you can do that. I mean, you can actually... There's people that have businesses here that just go back. They live in Japan. They come here for like however many days, and then they go back to Japan, and then they probably do the same thing there, and vice versa. But yeah, they're still Japanese nationals. They just come here and do their thing and go back. Japan is, I think, you cannot have dual citizenship. So you have to either expatriate there or stay there only long enough to be a tourist. And they're very strict on their, I mean, every country, if you go by the book, is very strict on it. But Japan is very strict on their visas and stuff. Like you don't want to overstay or whatever there. Yeah. I'd be interested in going though, but I think the things that I would be interested in doing, it may just be I built it up in my mind that it would be cool, but it may actually not be. Because like I would love to go do like run a ski lodge or something like that. It may not be practical once you get into doing that. Because a little context. My
it's kind of romantic-ish. Like I want to go there and I want to be an innkeeper in a haunted mansion.
Yeah.
Like,
so my wife, her brother was a professional skier, and her dad owns a ski lodge.
Oh, so he just kind of melded the
and
two.
He still has it, and there's still a lot of skiing areas around where she grew up. And so I've often thought, to your point, kind of romanticizing, well, wouldn't that be cool to live in this lodge and then, cater to European or Australian or American tourists and kind of like, do whatever, shuttle them to different ski slopes and give them, curated advice and experiences there. But, you know, that is only as good as the demand for it, right? So I have no idea what the demand for that is now. I think it's very low. After the Olympics that they had there in Nagano, it was high, but I think that's waned. And two, people are broke like pretty universally now. So even
eggs, $10 a carton. Yeah.
Right. Well, there's that, but then too, you're talking about a place that is right in the middle of the Japan Alps, and so when it snows there, I mean, it really like comes down. So you're talking about like getting a snowblower out and doing that like repeatedly every day for at least 3 months out of the year. That would get old pretty quick. Like when you start thinking about like the actual day to day, and then you have to cook for these people, you have to run kind of like a semi-commercial kitchen and like all the, you know, the changing out of the rooms and, you know.
So you love the idea about everything about it except the work part.
I don't mind the work part, but there's so much that I'm not experienced at. It's a whole different career change. You know, and there's the upkeep and the maintenance of the actual place itself. This place has been around since my wife was a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. So yeah, definitely possible. But it's always, I'll tell you where I would really like to go. If I had my druthers and I could just wave a magic wand, is I would really like to live and probably retire out on Okinawa. I really enjoyed my time there. And
when you were in the Navy?
Yep.
Yeah.
And when we've been back, like on vacation, that's kind of like a special place, I think, to me and to a lot of people. Have you ever been? Yeah. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, yo.
Oh, I'm getting tired. Getting tired, Foxy.
I'll probably call it. I wonder how many people will make it this far.
Oh, Boomer found a bed.
Yep.
So
what is our value for people listening? I think we've dispensed some good advice about the parking.
No. I don't want to say we've dispensed any good advice.
The practical advice about parking. If you've got your ID card, you can park for free.
I've been thinking about trying to get my Lithuanian citizenship.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I did some, when I was out to sea last year in Alaska and I was working this night shift on a boat, I had some free time, and so I started going down the Ancestry.com rabbit hole and tracking, putting together ancestry trees.
I've done that too.
And at least for most of my mom's side, it rapidly falls off in late 1890s, between 1895 and 1905, which is when they all came over from Europe for the most part. And that side of the family is all Ashkenazi Jew. And so, their name changes. And so you're trying to track back the modern world name from the old world name.
Oh, yeah.
And so names like Katie Gold, you're like what was that in, Yiddish? But I tracked some of the birth records back to Vilna or Vilnius, Russia, which is now part of Lithuania, the capital of Lithuania, I think. And on the website, thank God for the Mormons, because the Mormons 30 years ago had gone to all these towns in Russia and digitized all the birth certificates. And so I think I found the birth certificate back from that person's parents before they emigrated, and so I've got a copy of it. But Lithuania, I think, used to have this thing where if your ancestors had expatriated for political or persecution reasons, then you could apply for citizenship. I think they closed it a few years ago. A bunch of countries have that for World War II persecutions, but I think Lithuania had it for, in the late 1800s, 1880s, 1890s, there was a bunch of Russian persecutions of the Jews called the pogroms, and so a bunch of Jews emigrated during that time. Anyways, I had sent it out to my family like 6 months ago, a bunch of folks. And then I got an email from my cousin in LA yesterday saying, hey, I'm looking into trying to get a Lithuanian citizenship for my kids. And I was like, loop me in just in case
Yeah.
you have to expatriate. Yeah.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
To think of that.
Because it's like, yeah, kind of like the Japan thing. It's like, if you had to leave the country,
Yeah.
what skills do you have to buy your way into a new country?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I mean that is something. So definitely not to say that anything that's going on now is right. I think we can all agree that what's going on now is very, very extreme. But traditionally, we're not the only country that has very, very strict requirements or barriers to entry. So it's not like you can just go and live somewhere else.
No.
There's definitely some hoops you have to jump through.
Like if you want to move to New Zealand, like what skills are you bringing?
Yeah.
Unless you're sitting on millions of dollars for
that's
passport options. Yeah,
that's kind of like the golden ticket. Yeah, for sure. That's interesting. I was going to ask you too, because that's a common theme or something that you bring up pretty often is like, it seems like you're very, very fond of like a life at sea. So do you think island
do
you think that island life is kind of like something that you do to kind of, because you can't spend a life at sea, or
what are you trying to call me?
Nothing. I'm just saying, like, what, or do you just?
I mean, I could spend a life at sea if I wanted to.
Yeah,
potentially. I've seen people with those lives. It's a difficult life.
It is.
I think I am terrestrially claustrophobic.
It's a table. Probably move it over.
In that, oh my God, in that I have to live near a place with an ocean. Thank you for that. I have to live near a place. I have to live at a place near an ocean. It doesn't necessarily need to be visual, but it needs to be within a short distance. Like, I mean, I lived in Wisconsin, Minnesota for a long time. I felt claustrophobic.
Even with the Great Lakes?
Yeah, those count. There's big bodies of water.
I mean, they're the biggest.
Yeah, that's not an ocean.
I thought that they qualified. I thought they qualified as like an inland sea.
And I was also western Wisconsin, eastern Minnesota, so I'm not really close to them.
You don't like skiing?
I like skiing.
Yeah.
But like, you don't ski in the Midwest. They got hills, like not mountains.
I think I've skied in Wisconsin.
Yeah, on hills, not mountains. But like California is great for that, right? You're right near the ocean. Then you can also just go up towards some great skiing.
We've got Colorado very close.
Yeah, New England.
Utah.
New England was the same. You got the White Mountains. And you're right on, at least where I was in Narragansett Bay. So I think an ocean is just reflective of that. It's more that it's an ocean with a volcano, and my job is tied to that. So where can I go where there are volcanoes?
Yeah, that's
unless
true.
I quit my job and then just go get a sea job, which there are out there. There's one I was looking at applying, but it's based out of New York.
Merchant Mariner, or?
No, with a science group. It was like, you might
Steve Zissou.
Steve Zissou.
Yeah.
All the interns get guns.
Klaus.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think it might be in my blood. My great grandfather, my mother's grandfather, was from Liverpool and absconded away from home at the age of like 10 to become a sailor. Poor family.
Sure.
Like 7 kids, and they all worked for like barbers. Growing up, it was like the lather boys. Run your ships doing errands. But yeah, absconded away at the age of like 10, and then spent the next 10 years, 15 years sailing the high seas. A lot of steamships, but also this is early 1900s, 1902, 1903. So this is a time where steamships were more and more popular. They were taking more of the kind of trans-Pacific and transatlantic business, but they were still tall ships around. But these were a lot of times like massive steel-hulled tall ships.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to make them affordable, they ran them on absolute skeleton crews with newbie crews. So he did a
Right.
yeah, he did a cruise from.
They still do that.
Yeah.
They use like cadets
Yeah.
from the military to sail tall ships around.
Yeah.
I don't think it's because it's cheaper. I think
No.
it's a principle thing. Yeah.
I mean, there's organizations where you can like pay to play on those kind of things. I've always thought that would be a fun vacation.
Yeah, I mean, countries do that. They would land in Okinawa, like one of their stops. Like they race around the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I got to meet some Russians that way, from a tall ship. It came from Vladivostok, and there were like I think there was an Australian tall ship. These were like triple masted, like big things. South Korea, Australia, I think were in port.
North Korea.
Did I say north? No, south.
No, you said south, but you didn't meet the North Korean.
No, North Korea has submarines. Remember?
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Now we're gonna get killed if we ever try to go to North Korea. Shucks.
Oh, I think I'm actually already on that list. Did I ever tell you this story?
No, I need to hear this.
So when I was doing my PhD at the University of Rhode Island, and my specialty was seismic tomography. So using earthquakes and seismicity to make maps facilitated by high performance computing of the crusts of the top 20 kilometers of the crust.
Sure.
And so there was another person in our group, I think they were a postdoc at the time. And so if you think about, you have an earthquake and it radiates energy away, right? Kind of like throwing a pebble into a pond, right? You get that pattern. Well, if you have multiple earthquakes and they are all radiating away, they're going to form a more complicated pattern, right? So let's go back to pebble falling into the pond, or just a single earthquake. You have that single earthquake, it radiates away. You have a bunch of seismometers around it that record that energy, right? And they make a seismogram, they make a time series, right, data recording of that. If you take that data recording and you reverse it, you flip it in time, right? And then, right there, right? And you do that for all of the stations, right? Then basically what you've done is you've taken that recording of the wave field and you've just basically flipped it.
You made a web of recordings.
And now you use that as an input to a model. And instead of modeling your earthquake, you model the earthquake as occurring at each one of those stations, but with that reversed time series, right? Now you make that complicated wave field, and the cool thing is it converges and has the highest amplitude and most coherence right where that actual earthquake was. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right. So it's called.
So it's almost like a topography, but for the seismic activity.
Kind of. It's called reverse time migration, and so it's kind of like if you were able to measure the change in the surface of water as that pebble was thrown in from a bunch of different places on the lake, and then you took those recordings.
So it's like triangulation.
Yes, very similar, right? Yeah. And so this postdoc was working on a paper, and the goal of the paper was to locate a North Korean nuclear test. And so that's what we did. We took recordings from around North Korea, and then reverse timed them to locate where this nuclear test had been done in like the mountains and an underground bunker in North Korea. And so I'm like third author on using reverse time migration to locate nuclear tests in North Korea. And so I've been very, very cognizant of, this was 10 years ago, that if I ever...
Yeah, probably stay away from the DMZ.
I'm on a list. Yeah.
So whatever happened to that kid that, did they end up like, remember the kid that like,
the one who stole the poster off the wall?
Stole a poster or something. And
wasn't he the one that was returned, but then like he had brain damage and he died?
I'm thinking in some way or fashion he's not alive anymore.
Yeah, I think that was the kid.
I don't know if they did it there or...
No, I think he was returned after like a year or two, but then he showed up with like severe, mental issues, not like psychological issues, but like actual physiological. Mm-hmm. And I think he passed away.
Yikes. Yeah, by all accounts that I've heard, it's not a nice place there. Now I'm on a list.
No, you're on the list. I mean, it would be odd if there was at least one account of how wonderful it was.
You know, South Korea,
Like
though,
even in like the Google reviews of places, right, that are like 1 star, you'll still get like an occasional 3-star. We don't have that for North Korea.
well, I've been there and it was fine.
Like I went to North Korea, yeah, it's a totalitarian regime, but God, it was beautiful and the food was delicious.
Best hamburger I've had in my life. Oh, there was a thing. Kim Jong-un actually had.
Well, now you said his name. Now you're definitely.
He had a personal sushi chef from Japan that would come and make him sushi.
Right. I'm glad you said sushi because it would be really weird if you
So-
said grilled cheeses.
And this guy, I mean, talk about pressure, right? It just on demand would have to make sushi, but I think he was paid very well. But can you imagine that job? But just
No, I hate making shishi on demand.
yeah, but you're talking about not sushi,
Oh,
sushi.
yeah.
But yeah, so good food exists there, just only for like one person, probably. Yeah. South Korea is delightful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. Very nice people, very interesting. Talk about getting out of your element. There were grown men crying at the open air markets because it is really a thing. You know, it's one of those things with cultural differences. They do eat dogs there, or they did at that point in time, and so you know, sorry, Foxy.
No one wants to eat Foxy. That's
They-
all fat and gristle.
They had them hanging up in the market. That was a little unsettling. Well, for me too. I didn't cry about it, but there were other people that were. But yeah,
Foxy. God.
but I mean, other than that, kind of uncomfortable sight. The rest of the place was super nice.
Hmm.
This wasn't like a third world thing where they only had a choice of eating a dog. They had a lot of other stuff there too. A lot of like really, they had king crab,
Yeah.
all kinds of different fish,
Right.
meat.
I have never been. It's been on the list for a long time. I've got a buddy
Definitely
who's a
go.
professor there. I've done some guest lectures for some of his students. I would say my most recent exposure to South Korea has been binging season 2 and season 3 of Squid Game over the last week.
Is this like okay? Yeah.
Which is
so
an excellent TV show, and I highly recommend it.
I've only seen the first season. I
Yeah.
never watched the other ones.
Yeah, season 2 and season 3 they're out now. Great. Season 2 blends right into season 3. You know, I really wondered before I started it. I was like, how are they going to do a second season of this? Like, is it just going to be the same crap? And I was like, oh no, they pulled it off well.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the Righteous Gemstones was a little bit disappointing. The final couple
I have not
seasons.
seen the
But-
final 2 or 3
But
seasons.
the first one was jam on. Like that was great. Second one was pretty good. Third one, they were stretching. It was time for it to. It was a year past time for that show to be over. But yeah. I was trying to think. Oh yeah, Ozark kind of ruined me on shows. I used to really like Breaking Bad, and that was kind of like the penultimate, like the coolest show or the most intriguing. And then like Ozark kind of ruined me because it was just so like out of
Yeah.
left. I mean, they just killed everybody in that show.
I forgot how that ended.
Spoilers. It ended poorly for everybody. Yeah. Everybody didn't die, but it ended poorly for most everybody. Yeah. Not satisfying at all, but I think that was the beauty of that show because it kind of, I mean, I won't say real life because what do I know about that world, but it did have, it was very dynamic. I think Breaking Bad was that way too because you liked somebody and then like a couple shows later they're doing something totally appalling. And
What's the name of the dude from Righteous Gemstones who plays Baby Billy Boy?
I love that guy.
Baby Billy.
Now you've asked me and I cannot think of it.
Because he's also in
Uncle Baby Billy.
he's-
It's the
He's got a weird name.
Donaldson or
No. Got a weird name, and he's also
Uncle Baby Billy.
Uncle Billy.
Teenage Jesus.
Man, I don't get no reception here.
No, because you're not connected to Wi-Fi. I could get my tablet.
Walton Goggins.
Yeah, Goggins.
Yeah,
That's
totally weird. Yeah, maybe because he's also in Fallout.
Oh yeah, he's like he's carrying that show.
Yeah.
From my understanding.
Yeah, there was a meme going around of like Walton Goggins' back is broken after carrying.
That was my understanding. Yeah. That was 100% my understanding. I've seen that meme, and that's about all I know about that whole franchise. I've never played the game.
Neither have I. It's a good show.
Yeah.
Because of Walton Goggins.
He's good, dude. Like most of the stuff he's in, he's good. He did a show, I think it was called Principles with what's his name? Who's also plays basically the same character in every movie, but all of them are hilarious.
They only did like a season
Kenny
or two.
Powers was just a fantastic run of a show.
Walter Goggins worked Reed Tuckles. There you go. I'm trying to make a tongue twister out of his name.
What is that guy's name now? I can't think. I can only think of Kenny Powers. He was in Pineapple Express. Man. Oh well, he's good too. So like he's good in pretty much anything I see him in. And another one is John C. Reilly. John C. Reilly, I think he's gotten out of doing comedies and maybe movies altogether because I think he was typecast. And
I can't place the face. I know the name.
Step Brothers.
Oh, Will
Ferrell's brother. I think he did like Walking Tall, where he basically played like the...
Danny McBride.
Yeah. He did... he basically played like Johnny Cash / Elvis / Jerry Lee Lewis and Walking Tall. That's a great movie too. Underrated.
You know, it's a great scene from a great movie. Like if you just had to take like 5 minutes of the movie.
It's got to be from Spinal Tap.
No, it's the sleepwalking scene from Step Brothers.
Yeah, with the pillows.
Yeah.
There's so
Why did you wake him?
There's so many like great scenes in that movie. Maybe I shouldn't mention this one, but where the people are coming to view the house and Will Ferrell, I'll just say it keeps popping up in various costumes. Mm-hmm. It's pretty funny. And the whole bunk beds fiasco, the drywall thing. Like there's so many just good quips. Shark Week, when they're the gravity of the issue is like humongous, and they're worried about Shark Week.
What was it? Was it the goddamn Catalina wine?
Yeah, the wine mixer. Oh. Yeah, that guy was great. I forgot his name. He was in Parks and Rec as well. He's good.
Is he this? Yeah, and he's the same guy from. I didn't watch all of it. I made it through like the first season and a half of Severance.
Mm. Have you watched that at all? I've heard that that's really good. Is that a Apple TV one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I cut off Apple TV because I just.
Okay, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so let me. I go through phases, right?
Right.
Like I'll have Disney every now and then I'll have. I usually always have Amazon Prime, even though I don't like it because like they still make me watch commercials for some of this stuff. Netflix every now and then I'll sign up, I'll binge something, and they'll cancel it because it's like $25 a month.
It's expensive.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's when I get to the point where I'm paying like $100 a month in subscription fees.
Just hold that thought. I got a notice today that Spotify is changing their price from like it's already $18 a month. I think I've got like the family one. They're changing it to like $21 a month.
I didn't get that notification yet, but I still have like 10 terabytes of music on a Google Drive somewhere. And I'm
too.
I'm like, I should just go back to getting a MP3 player.
I got records, dude.
Yeah.
There's Anyway, back to your thing, yeah.
Let me just say, of all of the best content for value, Apple TV.
You think?
It
used to not be that.
No. Great shows.
What was the soccer show? I enjoyed that show, but it was a little too.
Yeah, the one where he's the coach, where he goes over to England. Yeah, I like that show.
I do too, but it was kind of
I would say they've got a handful of really good shows to binge. They don't have nearly as much content as things like Netflix.
So
but
I cut it off when that show was on, which I think was still like in the very early days of Apple TV. So maybe it's gotten way different than when I had it. But when I had it, there wasn't much there that was interesting.
It's fewer and far between. But the things that you do end up watching, I would say,
are
better much better. They've got a great one that's been on for a little while with was it Jason Segel and
Michael J. Fox and Harrison Ford.
Not Michael J. Fox, but with Harrison Ford, yeah.
There is one where Michael J. Fox is in it.
Oh.
I think Harrison Ford's character has like Parkinson's. And
maybe Michael J. Fox is in the newest season of it then, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's because that's the same one, Shrinking.
Well, I was going to mention, that's it.
Yep,
I saw a little trailer for it, and I was like, wow, that looks fantastic.
No, and Harrison Ford's in it, and it's great, and he's in all the episodes from the beginning. There's a lot of good shows.
Netflix used to be like that.
Netflix has a bunch of shit.
They do now.
And it's expensive.
But I remember when, what's that show? Oh, what is that show? It's named Lilyhammer. First came out.
That was a great show.
And that was, I think, like the first series that they ever had. Like they kind of launched that, not series, but that kind of, well, I mean, it's Netflix, so they're kind of groundbreaking anyway, but then they go from, just having movies to like, original series. And that one was actually pretty damn fantastic.
Yeah, but that was what?
That was a long time ago, dude.
A decade ago. Netflix now, to me, Netflix is the place I go to spend a half hour trying to decide what to watch and then go to HBO.
Yeah, every now and then they'll have the rights to show something cool like Harry and the Hendersons, right? I watched that with my son, but they don't always have that. Yeah. I guess because of legal and stuff, they'll have things and then they'll move them off the platform. So a lot of the reason that you got Netflix in the first place, you got it to watch a wide breadth of like different movies. Yeah. And now it's all original content, mostly, and it's sprinkled in some titles, but it may or may not be your druthers. And two, the other thing is it's like everything else on the internet now. It's driven by algorithm. So you may not actually even see things that would probably be interesting to you just because they don't match your profile. So there's like things that I see that you don't maybe see.
No, I think the only thing I have been watching on Netflix in a long time is Squid Game, and that's kind of how I watch it. I'll binge it for like a week or two, and then I'm done. Then I'll cancel the subscription again. Yeah, just not worth it.
I agree.
All right, I gotta get going.
All right, Foxy's done.
I gotta go get
Boomer's done.
Food.
All right.
Go home.
Thanks, Ashton. We'll have to talk about your glass and your pottery.
You didn't talk about anything I wanted to talk
pottery. About. Well, so before we cut off, then do you have
No, I don't want to talk about it right now.
Do you have any place people can find you?
No.
No?
No.
All right. You realize this is going to be...
You can
I'm
find
not editing
You
this
can
out.
find it on my Instagram.
What's your Instagram?
You don't know my Instagram?
No, I know, but do they know?
I don't want to tell them. I want you to tell them.
But I'm going to put it at below the video.
You can find me at Caldera Cowboy. You say at Instagram?
At Caldera Cowboy.
Oh, there you go.
On Instagram.
Yeah. In Instagram?
On Instagram.
Why is it on and not at?
It is at Caldera Cowboy on Instagram because you're on the platform.
You can find me with about Caldera Cowboy at about Instagram. Thereabouts.
Is that the only place they can find you?
You can find me in the jungle.
In the jungle.
You can always find me on the volcano.
Welcome to the jungle.
Yeah. So are we going to talk about the other thing?
Do you want to talk about the other thing?
I mean, I think it's worth mentioning.
What other
thing? So
thing?
Clint is thinking about having a fundraiser to have liposuction for his dog. Because it has reached a critical point where I don't think the dog is skinny enough to lick its own asshole.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
She has problems like scratching her belly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do something about it.
I've tried.
Little treadmill. Get a little treadmill. Katie's got a little doggy treadmill back in North Carolina. Works wonders.
Tell Katie to be on the podcast. Need more guests.
Katie doesn't want to be on a podcast, probably.
Okay. Should we talk about roller derby?
Maybe. No.
No?
I like the idea of you having musicians.
I do too.
Yeah.
Do you know any?
No.
I tried. I have maybe a couple potential to be on, but we'll see.
You get that coffee guy.
The coffee guy?
Yeah, the coffee guy.
Which coffee guy?
My buddy, the coffee guy.
Maybe okay, I know a couple of coffee guys.
Oh, well, then go fuck yourself. Okay. Get one of those.
Dude, just flip it. Just flip it. Oh, yeah. I mean, Brian, of course.
You could get, look at where you live, buddy. Get anyone who just wants to talk about the mailboxes.
Yeah. That's highly contentious.
Debatable.
Yeah. Okay, just for the record, I am pro not putting the mailboxes where they were going to put them. I'll just say that.
Just for the record, I don't live here.
Yeah.
I have a mailbox somewhere else.
Just to be more clear, I am okay given current findings with those mailboxes not going up where they were going to go up. So I'm anti encroaching on ancient burial sites. So,
glad we cleared that up.
Yeah. You gotta these days.
But when you die and I bury your body, I will have no problem encroaching on your burial site.
Putting a mailbox on it? Well, how else am I going to get mail?
There you go.
All right.
Well,
so
I kind of feel like pizza.
I have it.
Maybe go get a take and bake and bake it. My problem is if I get a hot one in Hilo, by the time I get home, it's not hot.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to talk about this offline?
No, these are important decisions.
All right. Well, if you made it this far, then I'm...
Do they still have that pizza by the slice place by the KTA in Quantico?
Maybe.
Next to the O'Reilly's.
The New York one?
Yeah.
I think
He went out of business, but then he sold it, so I didn't know if they still had it.
It seems like I saw chairs and stuff inside of there, but I may have been looking at a different location.
That was always sad.
There is no...
It was a great New York pizza.
It was actually good. I went in there once.
And it was reasonable. It was like $5 for a big, giant slice. But everybody wanted to go to Little Caesars.
I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
I just have to right now. Believe me,
You're never going to get a sponsorship with that attitude.
True. When I had the means to, I would go to places like that.
Are you doing their $4.99 deal with the 2 big slices and the built-in 8 breadsticks?
I'm doing whatever
because I saw
today's deal is. But here's the thing about Little Caesars is their codes don't always work. So
their health codes?
I don't know about that, but like the promo codes don't always work. And some of them are different. Like you have to add a number at the end of it.
The problem with Little Caesars is that there's a Little Caesar in everyone. Yeah.
And that's not good.
No.
I was going to say something else.
When I was in college, I had a roommate who worked for the local Pizza Hut in the small little college town of like 10,000 people. And every now and then I could convince him to make us something like that he would take home from work. And what I would usually try to make him make would be the super calzones, which is when you take 2 deep dish pizzas and then you put them on top of each other and then bake it. That shit was great.
That's, yeah.
You're talking about the joys of college, like right there. Yeah.
I miss Atlanta and Chicago for kind of the international world of food.
Yeah.
You just kind of had the world at your fingertips in respect to food.
Yeah. Here's a
food desert.
Yeah.
Everything that is, I won't say everything that's good. Obviously, it's very subjective, but you'll get places that are just freaking outstanding, but like the person that runs it will move away, or they'll age out of wanting to run that business, or something will happen. The business is not profitable.
There's
whatever.
always good Thai food and there's always good poke, but you can only eat so much of that. Like the lady who does the pop-up Ethiopian food on the highway over here. That's amazing. But have you seen like 2 weekends, a month?
There was one that was doing gyros.
A gyro.
Yeah.
A gyro?
Yeah.
A gyro?
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah.
She was doing those, and I guess it was a thing where she was just selling out of them like almost immediately. Yeah. I don't know if she's still even doing them, but Boomer found a bone. She can have it. Nobody chews on those around here.
I'll tell you what my go-to dinner has been over the last month or two, because my ulu tree is fruiting like crazy, is just ulu French fries with anything on it. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Chop them in don't pre-cook it. Just peel it, chop it into fries, toss it with a little olive oil into the air fryer for 12 minutes, and then anything on it. A little sour cream, a little ground beef, a little cheese, a little whatever you want, but it's good. And it costs nothing.
I wish that I hadn't eaten avocados for lunch for like probably 2 years straight one time. Because it would be awesome here, but I have absolutely no taste for avocado for the rest of my life. I'm done with avocados. But those are good.
Those are good.
And they're plentiful here.
When they're in season.
Yeah.
My trees are not in season right now, so
potatoes grow pretty much year round.
Yeah, but that's also one of those things like, why grow potatoes when I just get
Yeah, you could do that. But the Okinawa sweet potatoes are good.
Yeah.
The purple ones.
Yeah.
Ume. No, ume's plum. What is the ube? Yeah.
But I like my purple sweet potato sweet.
Okay.
Yeah. Like a baked purple sweet potato, like you're trying to do like a mashed potato or a baked potato, doesn't hit it. But like a ube ice cream, yeah. Like put a little dairy, put a little sugar in it.
It sounds like you just
like cake.
You like to eat a bunch of processed food under the pretense of you're putting it on top of something
that's how it works.
Would otherwise be good for you, nutritious, and
like that's like a salad is a salad is a vehicle to consume what you shouldn't consume in a healthy form. Like, oh, you want a nice piece of fried fish? Put that on some arugula. You're good. Like, oh, you want a slice of pepperoni cheese pizza? You put that on top of a Caesar salad, and it is good for you.
You know what I haven't had in a long time that you just made me think of was there used to be a place. So like my dad would always do pizza like once a week, and I think it usually fell on Fridays. And there was a place called Gondolier in Georgia where we lived, and it was a mom and pop place, and they had really good pizza, but they would also do the salad. And these were like actual, I think they were Greek people, and so all their employees would be from Greece. I don't know about now, but at one point in time, like these would be basically the arrangement was they would get their all of their things to come here properly for working in this place. So I say that only to say really good food coming out of this place, but they had the best salads, like the kind where it's got like the goat cheese and
it's got the goat cheese and a little bit of the pepperoncinis.
the whole olives. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you know what we call that in the pizza establishment? We call that a Greek salad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go figure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mustache of yours is looking a little Greek. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Well,
we'll have to do it again.
You know what they say, it's been real and it's been fun, but I can't say it's been real fun.
It's been very fun. All right. Well, that's it. If you're still here, thanks for hanging in.
I'm sorry.
See you next time.
Oh, we are on video. Do you release the video too?
Yeah.
Oh.
We're done.
I was scratching my balls.